making to address the various challenges the country is facing in terms of employment is going to go right. It will go around and touching every community, touching every state, which I know will going to also be included. What we have to look at today is the petroleum industry
act. That's why we're here.
That is what we are here to discuss.
Yes.
And any other energy-related issue,
yes,
either local or global, and contributing our little ideas, see how they can inform the people. Now, we look at the petroleum industry became an act October 2021.
Okay.
And of course, it started as a bill that was presented to the National Assembly. And there have been campaigns run. Of course, some of the top industry experts were proponents of this idea, like the late Dr. Emmanuel Eboga. He was the advisor to Mr. President then, Jonathan, on petroleum matter. And of course, he was going around for the campaign when it was still a bill, canvassing for wider. But the major driver, the dream behind the PIB then, was to empower local professionals, but to give back the resources to the people. Of course, we know that the IOCs have been in charge of operation right from inception. And then, like you see, all the archaeologists in Nigeria, majority was in the hand of Shell. Let's begin to see some of the access to them. So, whites were in charge, but with government interventions through policies like the Local Content Act, and then the PIB now came in to strengthen it. The idea was, let our people understand how this energy works and how we can get value from it. Because it's like we're standing aloof, we don't know the value as at then, but now we know the value. Because we can see the industry now being driven in Nigeria by our local indigenous professionals. You see indigenous companies. So the PIB then was aimed at giving back the resources to the people, which as at that time, the IOC, they understood what that was meant for. So somehow they were not comfortable with it. And one way or the other, they may have been trying to fight against it. So that was informed. I'm giving a little historical background.
It's very interesting.
We love to hear historical about this, what culminated into the act, and what is the aim. Because, like the question you asked on unemployment in the place and the rest of all that, that is what the PIB, now PIA, was meant for. How we can take care of our problem, energy problem, take care of our unemployment problem, and development issue. So, late Emmanuel Eboga went around, and I was also part of the campaigners. I was part of. I followed him several town hall meetings with IOC and community. In fact, even the consultant that was taking this bill, canvassing for acceptance of this bill then, from palaces of different monarchs across the Niger Delta, I was the technical consultant. I gave me some of the ideas. In fact, my ideas were taken to the National Assembly, was taken to the Minister of Petroleum, Iziani, and also the upstream chairman in the Senate, the then Senator Lee Maiba, on inclusion of certain clauses that will favor the people. Some of those clauses, like I say, I'm a technocrat, I don't need to blow my trumpet, but at the background, we are doing what we can do to contribute for the development of society. And ultimately, it now culminated into the act when it was signed into law in August 2021. Now, initially, the proposal was 10% of production to the oil-bearing communities. But it took a very long time, debate, and several other factors came in, and we now arrived at what we have. So,
what percent do we have?
3%. That 3% is 3% of what we were. Whatever is OPEX is 3% of OPEX. So whatever it is now, either small or big, is still to the advantage of communities.
The program is Energy Maritime Roundtable. I expect the audio to be rolling it right there for us, and we have right with us in the house an energy expert, an industry top analyst, Dr. Suka, Momta, and Elder Ignatius Chukwu. My name is Martins GIADOM, and for the past 30 minutes or so, we've been discussing the issue of the petroleum Industry Act, and of course trying to touch on some of the realities regarding the energy crisis in Nigeria. We'll be taking a little break. We expect your feedback. I expect the telephone lines to be rolling so that you can participate through text or calls right here, because in live Mr. President just set up a committee for what is the reality, but for the what we call fuel crisis. Maybe we'll put it that way so that we understand better fuel crisis in Nigeria. How
Rstv, your source for authentic coverage. Rstv, your source for authentic coverage. Rstv, your source for authentic coverage. US on
Talk Rstv PH
and GoTV at channel 142. Rstv, your source for authentic coverage. US on
YouTube Rstv PH, Facebook Rstv PH,
and GoTV at channel 142. Rstv, your source for authentic coverage. US on
YouTube R.
interesting Tuesday morning right here on Rstv in the Garden of City of Port Harcourt, right here in the Niger South, Nigeria. We're discussing the energy sector, everything that has to do with maritime, oil and gas, try to give some respite, try to give some update, try to give some focus on the local happenings in the sector. And this morning we have with us somebody that is man and Ignatius chukwu. My name is Martin GIADOM. We in the second half of this fourth episode of the Energy and Maritime Roundtable. And yes, Dr. Momta,
Thank you.
we actually had Mr. President setting up this committee. He probably feel that the Nigeria Delta this thing is not being, the assumption is not being met. The perception, what the Nigerian people want, is not being met. So he set up this committee. He just set up this committee some few days ago, some few weeks ago, that they should review the PIA Act. Did you think the Mr. President have something in mind? Before you come, you could see our numbers. You could see our numbers. Sometimes we can roll our numbers for you. Our numbers here is 080 370 58652. You can call us direct. You can send a voice note on our WhatsApp. You can also send us a message. Those numbers, two numbers, will be rolling right here on this platform for you to contribute. It's not be easy contributing. It's quite a program you need to follow first before you know what to say. But Engineer Momta is right here to talk to us. Mr. President seemed to
The ideology, the act, that aspect of the act is being implemented. Though there are challenges. There are challenges. And part of what was what is driving the host com is to address issues. As at the moment, there are several projects that are ongoing, and they have petroleum reform and value optimization task force, the 9-man committee. So this is also part of what they're going to look at. To see how they can review that PIA and look at certain aspects and see how they can benefit the community more to address their question. So we cannot say it's a failure. It's not a failure. Efforts have been made by government to address key concerns of the community. The committee is also given a mandate to see what can be done to add more value to the industry in terms of more investment, in the area of investment, and also transparent investment
in the oil and gas,
in the oil and gas sector. So
economy that we used to hear that as reporters. This is a veteran reporter in the industry, and we are all saying this to the people. Either what do you think the local people? Do you think the Niger Delta people? Do you think they are ever they are psychological on the issue of local content? Are you seeing any? Do you envisage any smooth implementation of a policy coming from the in benefiting from these innovations from government?
Well, what I do know is that if there's one region where awareness, training, capacity development is taking place, where one region where those things are happening is the Niger Delta. Why the Ogoni crisis opened the eyes of the region. And they now knew that happened to the Niger Delta. So it has trained so many persons in the Niger Delta who are now running their NGOs. And through those NGOs, they are building operated into it to serve as observers and help the people understand. So, but oil has discovered oil as a component, drilling the oil as processing it into other products. These four basic areas, was anyone difficult for the industry or difficult for Nigeria? No. Exploration, drilling, they were all, the technologies required were all there. The market to buy is there. Everything you want to do with oil, every component, no processing that costs it. It's not to sell it. It's a give me ownership, then tax me heavily. So this was the origin of the activism and the militancy. So every effort has been made to calm the people. So now PIB came in. What is PIB offering? PIB, Oga has said that PIB offered, they asked for 10%. The what putting forward on the table is this. Look, one, don't amend this bill, this act, in such a way that it will remove anything from what the host communities already have. Instead, let there be addition. That's your number one stand. Two, in doing so, look at